And speaking of A minuses, we've got my pick of the week, which is the 1991 film The Silence of the Lambs, which is a movie in which we're following around. I literally just watched it like an hour before we started recording. Tracy, some woman that's an FBI agent in training.
Dude, come on, there's no way you cannot remember this woman's name.
Is it one of the two options I said?
No, think of how Hannibal says it. It's like so iconic.
I forget. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Clarice. Okay, yeah. White woman number 14 is an FBI agent in training, and she is using a psychopath, fucking super smart, and also cannibal dude to help find and track down a serial killer that's kidnapping women and doing something nefarious to them. And hilarity ensues.
Fun fact. Oh, because of this film, Anthony Hopkins, who plays Hannibal, holds the record for winning the Best Actor Academy Award with the least screen time at only 16 minutes and 15 seconds.
Oh my god.
That's interesting, I'll give it.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Tanner, where are you putting this one? I'm curious about you.
I am currently at an S-, and I could give or take 1 rank on that.
Interesting. Dylan.
Dude, Jackson wasn't kidding. This was an A- kind of movie.
Okay. Jackson, how about yourself?
I'm also at an S-.
There we go.
Uh-oh.
I am at an A+. Didn't quite breach the S's, but I'm pretty high on it.
Yeah, so this movie is fucking fantastic. I wasn't obviously, this movie has a massive amount of cultural acclaim. People really like this. People talk about this movie a lot. And always going into these types of movies, I always try to go in with low expectations because sometimes these like older... This is definitely not like a horror movie, but you know, these types of like old thrillers don't really do it for me, I guess. But this one absolutely did. I was gripped throughout basically the entirety of it. Like seeing Hannibal manipulating our protagonist basically the entire time. Then obviously we see the results of that was really entertaining. Every time he's on screen, I just felt so tense because like you never know if he's going to do something. And obviously he had that massive moment where he did. The movie does a really good job just making things feel very tense. It really shows characters in over their head. It was just incredibly entertaining the entire time. I was on the edge of my seat in a lot of moments, especially like that final action scene with her in the house. Like she felt so in over her head. It's just really good fucking movie making, and obviously there's a lot of subtlety to it. There's a lot of metaphors. There's like the argument to be made that the fucking serial killer and our main character are like foils to each other, and how they approach the main theme of the movie, which is transformation, where like our main character, from like an outward perspective, there's a lot of pressure on them, like the psychopath, to change because she's a woman. And people have a lot of prejudice shown towards her throughout the entirety of the movie because she's a woman in like her field. People are hitting on her a lot. They're making offhand remarks. They're not respecting her authority because she's a woman, which is like the same thing that's happening to our main antagonist here. There's a lot of like societal pressure on him, like Hannibal said. But he went and actually attempted to do the change because he's a fucking psychopath, whereas our main character doesn't do that, and they just like reaffirm who they are as a person. This is an anti-tranny movie, and it's fucking based for that. That's what I'm trying to say. I do think it is funny, too, that, like... I don't know if it
necessarily is. Like, she very
That's a joke! I'm making a joke! Okay. I'm making a joke! Anyways, I do think that it is kind of funny that one of the, only people that really feels, like, truly sincere towards our main character is the fucking psychopath. I think that's pretty funny, and there's certainly some irony in that. It's just a really solid fucking movie. It's very well shot. It's very well acted. Super entertaining. Big fan.
Yeah, I definitely liked what you're touching on about the main character. I felt she was great. Fantastic stuff there. Like, fucking Hollywood, this is how you write yourself a strong female character, okay? Like, she's very capable in everything she's doing, but at the same time, she's not just, like, some unfeeling monolith, okay? She still gets very shaken and perturbed by situations. She gets over her head, but she's able to still fucking overcome it and get shit done at the end of the day. That's the good shit. How did you forget how to do this? Hannibal, also wonderful. Really dug the performance there. Obviously, we should all be very familiar with, like, his character at this point. Like, he's just a very big part of modern culture. And so, you kind of just like know what to expect going into this film with what he's going to be, but still the film like sort of sets him up as like this monstrous person. We hear about like these terrifying acts that he inflicted on others, and like all these intense security measures they need to take to like keep him in prison and everything. And so it's like, you know, you build up in your head like, oh my god, this is gonna be like some crazy dude, but instead he's just like some actually just kind of polite, albeit kind of creepy guy.
What's really funny, Nico, is that I had absolutely no idea who the fuck this guy was. I knew nothing about him from my cultural osmosis. I think I maybe like heard the name, but I had no context about anything of this going in. So I was experiencing this completely blind, and I had a great time with it because of that. Hannibal certainly did surprise me. They literally felt like they were treating him like a fucking SCP, to be completely honest. Where it's like some guy with like really specific, handling measurements, and like the second they loosen the chain in his collar, immediately it was like, this is a fucking terrible idea.
Yeah, it's like there are good reasons why all those policies were in place.
Yeah, that's you don't go up to him in the glass. Bad things occur. Because like it's like doing the same thing too, where SCPs will like fucking manipulate people into like killing themselves. You know, it's just he's a fantastic villain, if you could even call him a villain in the movie.
I definitely think you can call him a villain.
Obviously, he's like a bad person, but like I don't think he fulfills the villain stereotype in the movie itself. Like obviously that's from somebody else.
He's more not like the antagonist here, but
yeah.
He's certainly evil.
He is definitely evil. He like skinned a dude and like strung up a fucking cop. It's
Yeah. What I find interesting is, this movie's very smart and it really respects your intelligence and gives you a lot to think about. And one thing that I'm constantly thinking about here is like, it seems, maybe not heavily, but it seems kind of implied, and you can kind of read between the lines that maybe Hannibal created Buffalo Bill, or in some way influenced that guy to become this thing he is, and perhaps did that on the off chance that it would lead to this exact scenario. Like, they make him seem so all-knowing and so terrifying that you're literally entertaining the idea, like, did he set up 8 years in advance there'd be this serial killer that people would get his help on, and this and that, and you're like, you're literally being like, dude, is he playing 78D chess? Is he that crazy? But yeah, I agree, obviously, with a lot of what you guys are saying. This is just a masterpiece of tension and intrigue. The performances all around are really strong, especially, like, Hannibal Lecter is just far and away, like, it's just insane what he's accomplished here. And what's funny is, like, a lot of the cultural osmosis here are, like, his little one-liners here and there, which I feel like are actually, like, the worst parts of the character. I think it's just, anytime he is doing, like, a long monologue where he's just expounding on something, those are the moments that are the most attention-grabbing and haunting, not like his silly little I'm trying to fuck with you lines like, I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. That's like the big quote people throw out. You know, like the goofy one-liners are like, obviously their intimidation tactic from him, but it's really the parts where he is like walking Clarice through something or breaking something down, or, you know, trying to break her down. That is the really engaging aspects.
Now, Dylan, how'd you feel about this one, man?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think all of the performances and everything were gripping. I think that is the biggest draw to this movie. I like how the biggest revolvement point in this movie is the serial killer, who is the biggest bad that you've ever witnessed on screen. And I do think it's really funny how, like, the person's like, yeah, just don't give him any personal information. And, like, almost immediately, that's, like, the first thing she does. Like, I guess it granted, like, showing him her ID isn't necessarily it, but then when he's like, come closer, and I'm like, dude, you're also, like, not supposed to get close to the glass. You're, like, breaking 2 rules, like, immediately right now. Like, what's going on here? But yeah, I thought, you know, all of the way that the plot unfolded was great. I like how we're just sitting here psychoanalyzing pretty much everybody. I guess minus maybe, like, the higher up, like, captain people of, like, the FBI and, like, the warden and all that shit. And it's really just interesting watching how Hannibal Lecter, like, operates and, like, how his mind works. Just, like, you know, it's kind of like Tanner was talking about, like, 78D. I didn't go nearly as deep into thought on this movie as you guys. But yeah, just like the part that really got me was like when there was like the cop on the ground, he's like, oh, he's still breathing, he's still alive. And I was like, oh damn. And it didn't hit me that the body they found in the elevator was the actual dead cop. Because by the time he took off the fucking, like, it was showing them in the ambulance. I was like, oh shit, is that the dude? And it was. And that part really got me. My only like problem with this movie for the most part is the pacing. I'm sure maybe I was exaggerating just a little bit. It was a tad bit on the slow side, and the ups and the downs weren't quite happening where I would have preferred, I suppose. And the part at the very end that was just slightly too unbelievable. Granted, I understand that how darkness works and everything. I just find it really hard to believe that when she's down in the dark, she doesn't, like, see... Like, he is literally basically less than 2 feet from her face, and he's practically touching her more than half the time. And, like, the guy had ample opportunity to just fucking offer. And the only justification I'll offer in this movie's defense is he's a psychopathic killer. He wants to enjoy the hunt or the kill or whatever it is, so that's probably why he doesn't just kill her immediately. This isn't like a, you know, professional supervillain, like, we're here to handle business, I need to kill you right here, kind of thing. But it's a little too unbelievable that in that final conflict in the basement where he's, like, on top of her and not killing her, it just really took me out of the movie. And it sucks, because that's at the end of the movie, too, when things, like, climax and matter. So
it's like Buffalo Bill, he's just like this fucking monster. He's so freakish, man. Like, even then, when he has like this opportunity to do in our main character, he just can't help but be a fucking freak and just like try getting all over and touching her.
That's why I gave it a pass. That's why I was like, this guy is a psychopath, so this isn't gonna go the route that I would think it needs to go.
I feel like you could also maybe make an argument for he does just genuinely have a bit of humanity, and he's like actually pondering the decision to kill her off in the end, because there are a lot of scenes where he does react pretty strongly to the people he's trapped, specifically like that like last girl when she's like crying about wanting to see her mom, and you can see he's like actually emotionally affected by it.
Yeah.
He could literally just be like contemplating his decision, and he just does it for too long.
Yeah, that's why like he calls her like he's like, it puts the lotion in the bat, like he's trying to dehumanize her so he doesn't feel as bad about what he's doing here.
Right. Yeah. They were narrating over that context as that scene was happening. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the fucking our main character was talking about how they're describing the technique on the TV.
Yeah, Hannibal was like, yeah, he probably tries to view them not as people, so he becomes detached because he still has, not verbatim, he has like some humanity left, so he tries to, you know, disassociate himself.
Set design too. There's quite a few pretty solid sets. The fucking cage they have him in was like, I genuinely burst out laughing when I saw him in a fucking cage in the middle of that fancy ass room.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious. And then like that guy's basement is very well done. It literally felt like you're in like some like fucking Resident Evil like basement of some villain down there.
Yeah, like just the big fucking pit that he dug for his victims.
Yeah.
It's like, that looked crazy.
All the fucking moths flying around. The vibes were immaculate. What can I say?
Yeah, and there's definitely some like really gnarly imagery in this film too, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But like the bigger thing there that I like is just that like a lot of it is talked about rather than really shown, and so like you know, there's still like some kind of gross shit going on, but like the characters, like, they talk about these things, but they don't like go into very explicit detail for it, and as a result it's like you kind of just have to fill in the gaps for it with your mind, which makes it even more effective, and so I like that a lot.
If I had to offer any critique, I would say that the 2v1 against the cop looked a bit goofy, and did take me out of the scene a little bit, but you know, and that's like one minor thing I would say.
My only real critique is like it's like, this is a very weak critique because I hung with the movie, but it is, as Dylan mentioned, a slow burn. So if you're someone who's not inclined to be able to follow along with those kinds of films, you know, that'll be a problem for you.
Right.
Which, that's fine. You can always just throw on like some Family Guy funniest moments in the background or something during those scenes.
Yeah,
you get a second wonder was fucking
Subway Surfers
playing.
Can I talk about the book real quick?
Sure, go for it.
So I listened to the audiobook of Silence of the Lambs. This is probably one of the more faithful adaptations we've seen. Just whole chunks of dialogues written or grabbed straight from the book. And I'd say it's a pretty lateral move, honestly. Like, they adopt it very faithfully, and the parts that they decide to trim are really intelligent. The main things they trim out is Crawford, the like FBI head guy. He has a lot more stuff in the book that they pretty much entirely cut out here, and it still works for the movie. And also there's a lot more stuff with Clarice's roommate slash classmate that'll pretty much all gets cut out. So it's just like a couple of the more tertiary characters are fleshed out a bit more in the book, but like I feel like you honestly don't even really miss it when watching this film. One funny detail. In the book, Hannibal Lecter is said to have 6 fingers on his left hand. It doesn't... Like, they just kind of offhandedly mention it when they first see him, and then it doesn't play a role in anything at all.
It's just to make him seem more weird.
Yeah, I guess so. And then the ending is kind of different just because, like, there's quite a few basically epilogues in the book, and they go into way more detail about how Lecter escapes and whatever, and I feel so I guess in some ways I think I prefer the ending in the movie just because it's a lot cleaner.
Well, fantastic, dude. Do we have any further thoughts on Silence of the Lambs?
Dude.
No.
I really enjoyed this movie.
I'm happy to hear it. It's been a while since you've been pretty high on a film, so I'm definitely glad to hear it. On the other hand, you know what? You guys were right. This film was too slow. B-. I'm kidding. I'm sticking to my A+.
I think I'll stick with my A-.
I was contemplating bumping it up. I could see myself re-ranking it up to S in the future, but right now I think I'll stick at an S-.
I am also going to stick with my S-.
And it lands at an A+ overall. How exciting.
Wow.
Whoa.